So I was down at the corner waiting for the bus, right? The school bus, you know, the yellow cheese bus, you know what I'm saying? And like, so my routine is if I ever get my hands on some coin, you know, I had like a little quarter in my pocket, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go in the corner store, which is right here, right at where my school bus is at. So then I was like, all right, I'm going there and I'm gonna get my favorite. So I went in there and got me some Hers sour cream and onion chips, right? It was, don't tell nobody though, you know what I'm saying? Like it was what, 7:30 in the morning, so you know, my mom would kill me if she saw me eating some sour cream onion chips in the morning, but can't resist. So got my bag, I'm waiting for the school bus to come. It's in the morning, nobody's gonna catch me eating my chips, and I'm like in chip heaven, right? You know, I'm like, so good. Sour cream and onion, what an awesome way to start the day. As I'm standing there, eating my chips in chip heaven, some knucklehead walks up to me and he's like, yo man, give me a chip so I'm gonna stab you. No, my bad, he said jab. And at the time I was like, jab, what is this word? I don't recognize it in the English vocabulary. So I'm like, jab me? What do you mean? This is kid, he's like, I don't know, maybe a foot taller than me, a couple inches, half a foot taller than me or something. And he's like, I'm gonna jab you, man. And I'm just looking at him like, can I have a definition? What's that word mean? Can you put it in a sentence? Because I was like, wait, what? I've never heard this before. And I'm trying to think like my brother would be on it, in on this, like he would know this word, but I don't know it. Guess I'll ask some of my classmates when I get into school today. So anyways, right, he's like standing there waiting for me to respond, but this was all going on in my head at the time, instead of like giving him my chips, which, like, sorry, but you never ask a Vargas to hand over food he's already, you know, set his mind on, he or she, because you meet some of the ladies in my family, you would understand as well. And but then he's still standing there and he's waiting, and he's like, I said, give me your chips, I'm gonna jab you. And I'm like, sounds like a basketball term. So I was like, my chips, I already opened the bag. Why do you want an open bag of chips? Like, aren't you afraid you're gonna get my germs or something? And he snags the bag out of my hand. And he starts munching on my chips, and I'm like, I hear, I'm like, that's my sound. That's what I'm supposed to be experiencing right now. He's eating my chips. If I wasn't such a little punk, I would have knocked him. But I was too scared because that's just who I was as a kid. I was like, don't hit me. And mom would kill me. That's another story I'll tell you about. Fighting somebody in the street versus getting beat up by your mom for getting in a fight. Which one's better or worse? Let you decide, but I made my decision. So I'm like, just staring at him, and I'm like, it's got my chips. And this is all internal, like this emotion. You know, I'm like, I want my chips. Why he got my chips for? That's my breakfast. Still standing there chewing on my chips, like ruining them. And then he's like, I'm like, why is he still standing here? Like, you got my chips, okay? Like, to go away. But I'm like, so waiting for him to do something. And he's like, give me your book bag or I'm gonna jab you. Why does he want my book bag for? Oh, and by the way, he's got his one hand in his pocket, but he keeps reaching for something. And this jab device. I wish he would just pull it out so that the mystery of what jab means would just be solved. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. So you want my book bag? So I bring it around front. And I'm like, well, why would you want this book bag? I mean, look at it. It's used. I've had it already for like, you know, a year and a half or so. Look, there's got a little hole here. And I was like, look, like you can see my books through it. And then he's like, well, what do you got in the book bag? And I was like, well, it's a book bag, so I have books for school. This is my school bag, so I'm like waiting for the bus to go to school. And he's like, well, let me see. So like I unzip it, and I'm like, what would he possibly want in my book bag? Like, who wants the contents of someone else's book bag? So I'm like, all right. So I open it up, and I'm like, well, there it is. And he sees my Trapper Keeper. Now, some of y'all might be too young to know what a Trapper Keeper is, but what you know today is a binder,
it was a trapper keeper back then. So like, he sees my trapper keeper and he's like, "Give me your trapper keeper, I'm gonna jab you." And I was like, "Oh man, that's my favorite trapper keeper though." Internally, I was saying all this. So I'm like, so I show him the trapper keeper and I'm like, and I pull it out. And I'm like, "You don't want this trap. Why would you want to use trapper keeper? I mean, look, it's like starting to tear on the edge here and the teeth. The teeth for the clamps, they're not even like, they don't even line up. It's like, somebody with a crooked mouth, So I'm like, and I'm showing him all this. I'm like, look. And he was like, well, give me your textbooks. And I was like, my textbook? And then, so I had like it was a science, I think it was my biology textbook in the bag. And I pull it out and I'm like, well, are you taking this class? Like, do you need this but I go to a different school than you. And he's like, whoa. And I'm like, you have this book? Like, is this one that your teacher uses in the classroom? Do you have biology right now? And I was like, but you look older than me. You're probably in a different grade, so you probably already had this book. And he was like, well, give me your paper. That's when he got me, because I'm like, oh man, Mom just bought a fresh pack of loose leaf paper and put it in my trapper keeper. I opened the trapper keeper up, and I'm like, well, I got a lot of notes on here. And I just like cleverly and carefully bypassed all the brand new paper. And I was like, well, look, it's all written on. Like, there's like nothing in here. And he was like, whoa, what else you got in your book bag? And I mean, at that point, I was so already nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, like, he would have like, if he caught me on my lie that I actually had like brand new loose leaf paper in my trapper keeper, he might have hurt me some more or jabbed me twice. So I'm like, oh man. And I go to put my trapper keeper in my book bag and the heavens opened up. It was like this glorious moment. The angels came down. They were like, Adrin, we're here to save you. Because my older brother, 5 years older than me, tougher than me, comes walking up and he's like, Adrin, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh. And this is like when, like when you're trying to be tough, but then you realize salvation just came, so then you just become this little ball of mush. And I was like, the bus didn't come yet, Adam. And he was like, well, oh man, like, well, who's this guy? And I was like, I don't know him. He wants to take my stuff. He's trying to jab me or something. And that's when Adam was like, hold this. He like throws his book bag and I grab the book bag and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and he just books it at the dude, looks at him, he's like, ah! And he like turns around and I see like the dude running up the block in the middle of the street. My brother's Adam and he just like catches him in the middle of the street and he starts pounding him. Oh, you want to try to take stuff from my brother? How about I jab you? Huh? How about I jab you? And he beats the nonsense out of this kid. And I'm just like, yes, that's right. That's right. Don't mess with him. Cause don't mess with me either because of him. And then Adam then the kid runs off all beat up and stuff and with nothing and a half-eaten bag of chips. And then he comes back and he was like, he was so scared. He was trying to hurt me and stuff, Adam. I didn't know what to do. So he wanted this. And then he wanted my book bag. And then he wanted my traffic gear, loose sleeve stuff. And he's like, yeah, Adrian, it's all right, man. It's all right. Like, look, the bus didn't come yet. Just go home. Tell Mom, bus didn't come. Don't tell her about this. I took care of it. And, and then she'll call the school and find out if the bus is late or something. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'll see you. Thank you. Okay, all right. And so I ran back to the house because I was like, what if that kid comes back around and he sees my brother leaving? So I ran up to the house and I'm nervous. And it was another little savior moment when Mom opened the door and she's like, mijo, ¿qué tú haces? What are you still doing here? It's like, somebody trying to beat me up. And then the bus thing wasn't there. And I was waiting. And he wanted this. And he wanted this other thing. And then she was like, hey, yo, Mil, get in the house. Who is it, Courtney? I'll beat him up. And she gets me in the house and everything. And then Carlos says, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know, guys. And then next you know, for like the rest of the school year, the bus had to come up in front of my house to pick me up. So I had to wait at the window, and when the bus pulled up, I'd go out and then get in the bus just so that way I was safe. So I miss those bag of chips though.